Everything started with a voice. In the beginning, God said, and it was. His voice shaped the mountains, hung the stars, and gave breath to the human body. It was his voice that spoke to Moses through the burning bush. His voice called Samuel to be a prophet to the nations. He whispered to Elijah through the earthquake and the wind, and he spoke mysteries to the prophets about things to come. The universe was born through his voice. History takes shape through his voice. He gives life to the dead and calls into being that which does not exist. As our church approaches our 7-year anniversary, I started to feel that it was time for a change. I believe that God has given our church a unique calling to express the gospel in relevant ways and be a voice of spiritual awakening across New England and beyond. As I prayed and shared this feeling with our leaders, the sense among us was unanimous. It was time for City Church to seek God for a new name. Although the name City Church carries so much meaning for us, it's also a name used by many churches across the country. We genuinely believe that God has called us to continue to plant churches across this region, and our hearts were stirred to ask Him for a name that fit this unique calling. In the scriptures, God often gives a new name to mark new things. He changed Abram to Abraham, Simon to Peter, and Saul of Tarsus to Paul. Each name spoke of the unique calling of the individual. In the process of seeking God, we came across this verse of Scripture. Truly I say to you, an hour is coming and is now here, when the dead will hear the voice of the Son of God, and those who hear will live. This verse embodies the heart of what our church is called to do. Our great prayer is that people hear His voice again, and that God would use us as a voice of hope. As we search for ways to express this call in a name, the Latin word Vox kept rising to the surface. Latin is the root of our Western languages. For generations, it's also been the language of theology. Vox simply means the voice. But hearing His voice is all it takes to reshape the human heart. We are thankful for 7 miraculous years as City Church. Today, we're giving our church a new name.